Fear, noun, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. And now, my definition. Fear, noun, Freddy Fazbear. Now, with me being an adult, I can say that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I used to be a kid, a child even. Maybe even a baby at one point, but that evidence is fuzzy in my mind. But when I was a kid, you know, I was beyond terrified by anything that could be considered scary or spooky in any way. Sometimes it was just for the purpose of comedy, and my sense of fear was still heightened to such a degree. I was terrified to the point where I couldn't go to sleep at night once because I was afraid that fucking Swiper from Dora the Explorer was gonna come into my room and swipe my Game Boy. That wasn't even a joke. Like, that's a deep yet clear memory of being awake while the entire house was dark. I was alone in my room and I was just under my covers while I kept repeating "Swiper, no swiping" over and over and over. More than 3 times too, just in case he didn't hear me the first or second time. Basically, I was just easily frightened as a child, and I continued to be easily frightened all the way until I was the age I am today. I'm still a little baby boy when it comes to scary things. I poop in my diapers sometimes. Although I can say with confidence, I have grown, and a lot of things that I was scared of at one point no longer scare me. Sometimes I can even laugh at these things rather than be afraid of them. So I wanted to make this video just to talk about dumb shit that I used to be scared of, what I'm currently scared of, and you know, make you chuckle and laugh and chortle all the way through. One of the earliest fears I've ever had was not something that was well known, or something every child is afraid of. This isn't a boogeyman or Frankenstein. The first thing that I can really remember striking fear into my heart was the display window of a party store during Halloween. Like a lot of party stores, you know, they have these kinds of Halloween decorations that are goofy or very exaggerated in its presentation. The one I used to live near, not at all. That was genuine hell. The party store I used to live in. I didn't live in a party store when I was a kid. I lived near it. The party store that I used to live by tried their absolute best to give every child in a 10-mile radius soiled pants and trauma. And I sadly was one of those children. Every time my mom took me shopping in October, I just had to walk past that fucking display while closing my eyes. Every September when I see their fall, you know, nice fall display with very aesthetic fall, autumn aesthetic, you know, that one, that aesthetic, you know, rather than enjoying that, I only saw it as a reminder of what's to come next month. And then in November, when they did their little Thanksgiving turkey gobble gobble display, I praised the Lord Almighty that I wouldn't have to see that monstrosity for another year. Currently, the store is no longer open. I can't really remember what exactly the display looked like, and I don't think there's any photos of them. But in all the years that it was open, I never got over that fear of that display window. So, I don't know, props to whoever worked at that store and put all of their effort into making those display windows. You deserve a better career path than working at a random party store. Now what else? Aside from all the basics, you know, zombies, sharks, witches, goblins, werewolves, etc. I wasn't really afraid of anything too specific, except for once I got access to the internet. Everything just went downhill from there. I went down the funny little rabbit hole we all know about of creepypastas. I watched and knew about nearly every single creepypasta under the moon. Ben Drowned, Sonic.exe, Slender Dude, literally all the Pokemon ones. Because of that, I will never catch a Hypno, never liked them anyways, even before I learned about his creepypasta. He's fucking weird. He's weird. Creepypastas were the scariest thing to me as a kid. And they made me incapable of sleeping alone for a majority of my life. Like, I'm not even talking about like a short time of my life. Majority of my years being alive, I couldn't sleep alone. Is that correct? Yes, I should be correct. I'm doing the math right now. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. That's like 11 years or so. Hey, this is Editor Bias. Just want to let you know that Past Bias is an actual idiot. I don't know what kind of math he was doing or how old he thought he was, but there's no way that I kept being unable to sleep by myself because of creepypastas for 11 years. The earliest I could have seen him was when I was like 8 or 9, when I got access to the internet, and I am currently 20. That would mean that I would have, at the most generous, stopped being able to sleep with somebody else because I'm scared at the age of 19. I've had my own room since I was 15. I'm stupid. So yeah, creepypastas were the scariest thing to me, and I felt like it wasn't necessarily because they were scary, but it was because they took these things that I found comforting and fun and turned them into something just that would want to kill me. Like Sonic.exe. In hindsight, it's not that scary, but I loved Sonic as a kid. I had a Sonic plush and everything. I'd sleep with him beside me. Not after Sonic.exe. I became so frightened that I couldn't sleep with Sonic by my side at all. I lost all trust in that blue blur after that. I cried that night as the Sonic drowning theme just kept looping over and over in my head. It was not fun at all. So why the hell would I keep watching these creepypastas if literally all they did was ruin my life? Well, my friends liked them. And to fit into my friend group, I had to like them too. Or at the very least, know about them. And the funniest part, I am 100% sure they felt the exact same way about it too. On the subject of creepypastas, let's get a little deeper, a little more niche, and talk about just the existence of the game Majora's Mask. My discovery of Zelda as a kid went like this. I didn't know it existed at all. I saw an ad for Ocarina of Time 3D. The one of the early commercials for the 3DS. It had the something like that, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I saw that ad. My thought was, what the heck is an ocarina? And I watched the playthrough of the game, and then after that, I just became the biggest Zelda fan of all time. Then I learned about Majora's Mask, mostly through the Ben Drowned creepypasta, and of course I was like, oh, well, it's just a creepypasta. The actual game can't be that scary. Then I learned about what's going on in the game. I could never trust the series ever again after that. Not only was the moon the most terrifying thing I've ever witnessed in my life, not only is the mood of the whole game so creepy and ominous, not only is the Happy Mask salesman scary enough to carry this whole game horror-wise, but to top it all off, the statue of Ben was real! I never wanted to play this game. But then I grew up and now the game looks really cool actually. Now it's time for the big meat and potatoes, Five Nights at Freddy Man's. I thought I understood the concept of fear very clearly, especially after the Sonic fiasco. But then I watched gameplay of FNAF for the first time. I was never the same ever since. No, like, seriously, if I just saw the thumbnails for FNAF gameplay the first time and said, this looks like something I wouldn't care about, and never watched it, I would probably be like a doctor or something. FNAF introduced an all-new type of fear to me, building off of all the things that have struck fear into me all at once to become the ultimate fear generator for preteen John. The imagery was unsettling, like the display window when I was a kid. It took things that once sparked joy into me and turned them into monstrosities like creepypastas, and most importantly, it had a stranglehold on my curiosity unlike anything else with its vague lore and explanations, kind of like how freaking Majora's Mask did. It was as if I had no choice but to keep watching because of how invested I was in this mystery. It wasn't that great of a mystery. However, it was no mystery to me that FNAF was easily the scariest thing for me in a long time. I wrote that into the script thinking it was clever. I couldn't sleep without checking my door and looking down the hallway to make sure I didn't see Foxy. Whenever I took a shower, I would look out from the curtain just to make sure Bonnie wasn't going to snap a picture. I even find myself doing this to this day. I just don't feel safe in the shower anymore. It's honestly amazing how this piece of media can literally affect how I feel every day, and I'm very certain that a lot of people feel the same way. However, a lot of these things I grew out of. Every single creepypasta is fake, display windows are never scary anymore, FNAF has become more funny than scary, and honestly, I can fold the absolute shit out of Swiper if he ever tried to swipe my Game Boy again, bro. I am posted up. I got my freaking gang with me, bro. No ops getting in my way. For real. Shit. So dumb. I'm not gonna say that I have stopped being afraid as I got older. I just stopped being afraid of what used to scare me, and now I have other things to be scared of. No, so I'm gonna list off, some of them right now, from least to most scary. Alright, so first up, we got death. I often try not to think about death all that much because we don't know for sure what death means. It's a scary thought to not know what will happen to you after that fateful day. However, there is a sense of optimism in it all because the fact that life has an end is what makes it so beautiful. That's what gives purpose for you to do what you want to do or to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And other dumb shit like that. So yeah, I am afraid of death, but I can accept it. All right, next fear, developing allergies. Now here's why allergies are scarier than death. With death, we don't know exactly what is next. It could be something great, it could be something cringe, it could just be underwhelming. With developing allergies, I know exactly what's gonna happen, and it's gonna suck. My brother developed an allergy to shellfish out of nowhere when he became an adult. This meant he couldn't eat stuff like shrimp anymore, and he loved shrimp. I love shrimp. I rarely get to eat it because he can't. So if I ever developed the same allergy and could no longer eat shrimp, I know my life would be nothing but suffering, and that is scary. My next fear, very realistic fear, feel like a lot of people can relate, deadlines. For anything really. Deadlines are the root cause of stress in the human race. You tell someone they have to do something in a certain amount of time, they'll freak out. Consequences for missing a deadline could be so minuscule, so insignificant, yet I will still shit my pants at the thought of missing it. And the worst part of it all? Deadlines don't motivate me at all. If anything, they give me an incentive to not do the work and wait for the last minute so I can panic. I remember so many times when I was working on something the hour before it was due, never in my life did an hour feel like 12 hours than in those moments. It's amazing how putting a due date on any piece of work can provoke such a response out there. And my last and most fearful fear, bears. So primitive, yet so powerful. What is their secret? What are they hiding? We'll never know, because whenever we dare to get close to the answer, they'll be there. They'll be angry. And God help us all if they're angry. And God help us all if they're angry. Oh no! Oh god! Anyways, those are the things that I'm afraid of currently as an adult. So anyways, fear, very necessary human emotion. We use it for very stupid things now. I never really had a very realistic fear, ever, except for bears. What I'm trying to say with this video, man, you know, we all got something stupid, something dumb, something that we are embarrassed of, that we were probably afraid of. And if that's the case, just fucking say it, man. It's not something you gotta be embarrassed about. It's not something you gotta mull over. It's not some dumb thing you gotta freaking keep with yourself. Sometimes even talking about it is what helps you get over it. So, you know, I don't know.